Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today we're on this bread series, and today is number 2. And we're going to be working on the wheat, okay? The wheat bread from the bread maker machine, okay? We're going to do the wheat bread. So I got a wheat recipe, and I'm going to do a copycat recipe. If y'all heard of Outback, if y'all like that wheat bread they be having when they serve it over, those little rolls, or you can have it as a bread and you can slice it up, you'll have the same recipe. So this is a copycat recipe of the Outback bread, and we're going to do it in the bread maker, okay? So if you're interested in wanting to know how to do this recipe, stay tuned. Okay, family, so what we have now is this recipe called the Outback Steakhouse bread recipe. It's going to be that wheat bread. And so what it calls for, and I will have this down in the description box down below, you're going to need 1 1/4 cups of warm water. You're going to need 1/4 cups of honey, 2 tablespoons of molasses, 2 1/4 cups of white bread flour or bread flour, 1 3/4 cups of whole wheat flour. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, and you're going to need 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and you're going to need some 1 teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of instant dry yeast. Always remember, your yeast is going to be the last thing that you put in any bread making machine recipe, okay? You want that yeast to be last. They want you to put that in some water. They don't want you to put it in nothing wet. They want you to have that on the very top. That's the last ingredient of all the ingredients that you put in your bread maker, okay? So we're going to go ahead and put these ingredients in and get started, okay? Okay, family, so we're going to start with the water first. This is the 1 1/4 cups of water. Got that in. Okay, the next thing is the 1/4 cup of honey. So I'm going to get something to help pour this honey on out. And that's going to be next. Get that and put that on in there. One 1/4 cups of that honey. Sure, I get all of it out of here. Okay. Stir it off in there. Get it good and melt it off in there. Okay. And then the sink. Okay, and then we're going to have 2 tablespoons of molasses. Gotta mix it off really good, the molasses. And I'm gonna also get this wet so you can kind of clear it up some. Okay, that molasses, might have to rinse it out good, but it's in there, molasses. Okay, mess this off. I could dry those measuring spoons off really good. Okay, so that's the molasses, and then we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of the unsalted butter. Okay, put that in. Or if you have salted butter, then you can omit the salt intake. Okay, and so we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of that. So that's 1, 2. Get the third one off in there. This water, I mean not this water, but this butter is room temperature, and it is warm. Okay, so that's that. This is so it won't melt everywhere. Okay, and then the next thing we're gonna need is 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And y'all remember when I made the brown sugar? So that's how that's what I was telling you. When I have these type of recipes, I want to have some that's already made up, so I won't have to worry about buying any. I can make it myself. So we're gonna need 1 tablespoon of the light brown sugar. Okay, and you want that to be you want it to be packed. Okay, so we got that. And then now we're going to start with the flours. Okay. Let's set this over to the side because I'm through with all the wet ingredients. Okay, those are all your wet ingredients. And now you're going to start adding your flour. Okay. So with the flour, we're going to need 2 1/4 cups of white bread flour or bread flour. Okay, in case you don't know what that is, we're going to need that in there. So I'm going to measure that on out right now as we speak. It's 2 1/4 cups. And when you are doing your bread making from the bread machine, they do not want you to pack your flour. You're going to want it to be loose, okay? Even it out, but you want it to be loose. You don't want it to be packed, okay? So that's 1, okay? And then get another one to make it 2 cups. 2 cups. And I hope you are going to enjoy these recipes so you can get in the flow of making your own bread. And I also want to let y'all know that this is an energy saving, technique as well too. So that way, if you don't want to use your oven and you're not ready to start making it making it like that when you're making it yourself without the machine, you're saving a lot of energy instead of using that stove. So if you have your bread maker, you can make your own up, and it'll do it. You make do all your wet ingredients and all the dry ingredients, and just let the machine do it itself for you, and that'll save you from having to use that oven. Okay, so that's 2 cups right there, and I'm gonna add 1/4 to that, 1/4 of a cup. So that way we can go ahead and start with the wheat flour. So let me get this 1/4 cup. Make sure that's in there. Okay. I want to make it precise. And that's one thing about the bread maker. They want you to have the exact precision in it, okay? So that's 1/4, okay? And then we're going to get the wheat bread. Put this up. We're going to get the wheat flour. Okay? And with the wheat flour, you're going to have 1 3/4 cup. That's 1. Get the 3/4. Just a little bit more. And remember, don't pack it. Okay. And that's the 3/4. Okay. Put the lid back on this. Okay. And then it wants you to add your cocoa. And so that's the 1 tablespoon of your cocoa powder. We're going to set that over to the side right here. Okay, that's the cocoa powder. And then we are going to add 1 tablespoon of salt. I mean 1 teaspoon, excuse me, 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, 1 teaspoon, if you have salted butter, then you won't need this step. If you have unsalted, then you can add this step. And I have the unsalted in there, so I'm going to add my step of the salt. I'm going to set that right over here on this corner. Okay? And the last is the yeast. Okay? This is the yeast that I use. Okay? You can get the bread making yeast, but this is the yeast I use. Okay? And you're going to need 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons, y'all. Let me get my teaspoons. You're gonna make a well inside of your flour. Like so. Because that's the last ingredient. A little well, like a little hole. And that's where you're gonna pour your yeast in. That little bitty hole. So you're gonna need 2 teaspoons. 1, 2. Okay? If you want your yeast to last you and you buy it, put it in the freezer and then you got a whole year to use it. If you put it in the refrigerator, it'll take 6 months to use. So I put mine in the freezer. You got long-lasting yeast. Okay? Now that we got all the ingredients inside of the bread maker, I am going to show you what we do from this point so that way the bread maker can make your whole entire bread loaf, okay? Your whole entire bread loaf. So stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close this up. Okay, so this is a bird's eye view of all the ingredients that you have inside your bread maker, okay? You see the wallow that I made right here, the swallow? That's right there. That's going to be where your yeast goes. And then I got my cocoa powder and my salt on the other side. And all the wet ingredients are underneath that, okay? All of it's underneath that. So I'm going to go ahead and close this bread maker. Okay? And now we got it plugged in. And we're going to set this on wheat. So what number is wheat is number 6. You see the whole wheat over here? Whole wheat is right here. So we're going to set this on the whole wheat. Okay? So that's number 17 for dough. That's what we did on the last video. So now we're going to do the whole wheat. And that's number 6. Okay? So we're going to count to number 6. We got to go all the way around to number 6. Okay. And we're going to do a 2-pound loaf, okay? A 2-pound loaf. So with that, we're going to be pushing the loaf size. And that's 2 pounds. With that, it's going to be 4 hours and 5 minutes. 4 hours and 5 minutes. So in that 4 hours and 5 minutes, if you're out there in your garden, you're doing some cooking, you're doing some prep meals, you're doing all the things, This right here will go through the kneading process. It will go through all your kneading. It'll be resting. It'll do all of that for you, and then it will bake your bread as well. Yes, it does it all. 4 hours and 5 minutes. You see that? That's a medium. It's on a medium crust, but we're going to put a light crust to that. Okay, so we're going to go over here to that crust, and we're going to say a light crust. Okay, and or we can have it as a medium crust, right? We'll do the light crust. I've tried it with the medium crust. It was okay. We're going to make it a light crust. All right, we're going to try it this time with the light crust. So this is going to be 4 hours and 5 minutes. You know what? I think I'm just going to go on back to that and put it as a medium crust. Yep, we're going to leave it there. A medium crust. Okay, so we are going to be doing this in 4 hours and 5 minutes. The machine is, not me. It's going to do it. And that way we're going to go through each other hour, so that way you can see how it's kneading its bread. It's going through all the process. You're going to sit there and see that just like me. I'm going to let you see that. When it gets to agitating, going through its little thing right here, get the mixing and making this dough ball, I will show you that too. So 4 hours and 5 minutes, y'all. But with the camera photography, we're going to be done before 4 hours on your side, okay? So 4 hours and 5 minutes. Let's make this bread. Let this bread maker make this bread, and can't wait to see what it's going to look like in between cycles. So stay tuned. I can't do nothing without starting that start button, huh? Let's start that button, y'all. Okay. It's going to preheat. It's going to get it ready. And we're going to be doing all of this for the wheat bread. Okay, family, so after you hit that preheat, after you hit your button, in case you're wondering if you have this machine, that preheat button is going to heat up your whole bread maker, okay? It's going to heat it up. It's going to get all your ingredients warm, and it's going to get it to that temperature where it needs to be so it can start the cycle. This takes about 20 minutes, okay, before it starts. That way you can have the right temperature on everything. Even if you thought you had the right temperature, this right here is preheating it to get it to the temperature it needs to be, because it's going to go through its phase where, you know, everything, when it's going through that kneading cycle, you know how sometimes that dough can get kind of hard and kind of rough, you know, if you're using a different texture of flour or something like that, and how the yeast might be. It's just bringing that where it's making it easier to knead and have all the essentials that it, you know, that you would think you were doing it manually and getting it all down. It's gonna, this cycle is helping get that prepared and getting it ready to do it on its own, so you won't have to do that. Warming it up, making sure that yeast and everything is good and active, you know, when it's warming everything up, when it's starting to go through that mix cycle. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's what that preheat is, and it takes about 20 minutes for that. So I just wanted to let you know, because I wanted to come back on here, because I was like, dang, I didn't let nobody know that. So that's what that is. And yeah, so we got 3 hours and 52 minutes in for this number 6 cycle, for the wheat bread cycle, 2 pounds. And I'll be back when we get it drumming, when you start seeing the stuff start mixing up inside the bread maker, okay? Alrighty then, we'll be back. So as you can see right now, it just started going through its process. It'll do it automatically after that preheat section. So this is what it's looking like. And then when it gets ready to go into its nice little dough ball form, I'll bring you back. So is it ready? Y'all, it's getting into action. So stay tuned. Family, we're midway in. And as you can see, this is the timer on it. And this is what the dough ball is looking like. And it looks really pretty right now. Okay? And you can open it in between before it goes to that rise stage. Right? But right now it's just resting. So that's what it looks like. And then we're going to just place this right back down so it can continue on doing its job. And we'll be back in another hour. Okay, y'all, so now we're at the kneading 4 stage, as you can see. And while it's kneading this dough, and I'm going to show you. As you can see, it's going through that kneading. At this point, the bell has rang, or it was a ding, to let me know I can add some more ingredients like nuts or whatever, oats or whatever you want to put in there at this time, you can. If you're not, then you just let it go ahead and go through its kneading cycle, and then it'll have another beep. And with that other beep is another reminder to let you know you can either remove that paddle that's inside of the bread making portable in here, or you can just leave it in there, because it's going to just leave a hole inside the bread. Okay, that's where that paddle was at, and that'll just come right out. Sometimes it stays in there, but sometimes you have to weed it out. It comes with the tool. And if you go back in the video, I'll have posted down in the link. It'll tell you, I'll have all the instructions and everything that I had to do to get this bread maker started, cleaning and all that stuff. So just keep watch of the video for that. Is down there in the description box. So now we're at 2 hours and 13 minutes in, and I'll be back when we finish this whole breading cycle. So stay tuned. Hey family, time is up. Now you see this little crust part right here. When it rises to the top, I'm gonna show you. When it rises to the top and it's kind of wet and stuff, and that's fine. We just clean that up. But this will be just the butt of the bread, okay? So I'm gonna take this out. We're gonna put it on the cooling rack, and then we're gonna let it cool, and then we'll cut into it. So we're gonna do all those 3 steps, and I'm gonna take you along with me so you can see it, okay? So stay tuned. Okay, family, so I took it out. This is what it looks like. Let me turn this around. This is what it's looking like. And this is what I was telling you about. You see where that paddle was? Let me show you. Let me get it right here. Okay, so this is what the paddle looks like. When it's time for that second beep, you can take that on out, so that way you won't have that mark inside of your bread imprint, okay? Now, sorry I'm making you dizzy. So that's the paddle mark. So if you don't want that, you got to take that out of there. But that's no problem. It'll get 8. That's the other end of the bread. So as I'm turning it around, as you can see, we got it on the cooling rack. And the way it's shaped like that is the way the bread maker container looks like. It's shaped like that. And then this is the top part right here. This is the end piece. And like I said, that will be in. That will be 8. So that's what it looks like. And it's a pretty bread. It's a very pretty bread. And it smells good all throughout the house. So I'm going to let this cool. And then we're going to come back. And we're going to cut it and taste test it. And yeah, all the good things. So stay tuned. Okay, family. So now it's good and cool. It looks funky, don't it? But it's pretty. Believe me. Because this is just the back end. It's the end piece. However, what do you name it on the end of your bread? What do you call it? The end? The butt? What do you call it? But anyway, we're going to cut this so that way you can see the inside of it. And we're going to try it. So we're going to go ahead and cut. That's the butt. And I'm going to cut one more slice. You already know the hawk will come running up in here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this extra slice right here, so that way he can have it. But I'm going to try it before he do. And I'm going to bring it up close so you can see. Look at there. See? And this is the back end. And this right here is your slice. Here's your sandwich bread. It smells good. All the works. And so now we're getting ready to take a bite. Okay, y'all. So now I'm going to take a piece and taste it. Tell you what it tastes like. It's got the slight sweetness that you like in there. It's not tough. Tastes like better than the store-bought. I can just tell you that. You can taste all that. You can taste the honey. You can smell the honey. The molasses and all that. You can taste all that in there. Good. Really good. Got it going on. So there you have it, y'all. Our copycat recipe of the Outback Steakhouse bread, y'all. Make this, and down below you will have that recipe. You got your own bread. It come all different ways you can make it. Yes. Why do I have to go to the store? You already know how much it is. Hey, letting it rack up. It tastes good. This will go in the freezer. So that way if we want some of this sandwich bread for sandwich bread, we can have that as well too. I'm racking up, stocking up this freezer, okay, of all breads. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and y'all, have yourself a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.